Hi, my name is Jay from University of Waterloo, Faculty of Arts, and this is Kelvin, University of Waterloo Arts Alumni. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So a graduate of the University of Waterloo, was it 3 years ago now? Still considering myself a recent grad for the time being. I graduated from the Arts and Business program, majoring in legal studies and minoring in sociology, and currently actually back at the university working in the student success office right now. So it's kind of come full circle in some instances.
hmm So I did a bit of research and you're working as new student transition project coordinator. Could you tell us about that position and what you do on a day-to-day or some exciting experiences that you've had?
Yeah, absolutely. So, started into this role not too long ago, but for me, coming back to the university and having the opportunity to work with students again and work on programming that directly impacts the lives of students was really important to me. Understanding that, especially right now, in the middle of a pandemic, a lot of students are going through a transition into university that has really been unseen in terms
hmm
of everything being online. So, in terms of some of the work that we're doing as part of the Waterloo Ready program to ensure that students are well equipped and prepared to start their university process online, and making sure that we have the resources for new students, for parents, ensuring we have the supporting pieces from upper year students and from the faculties as well, to ensure that the students are as equipped as possible to begin their studies online here, coming up in was it fall 2021.
Yeah, that's amazing. Thank you. Could you explain your career path and maybe talk about your past work experience? This can start from your first high school job or something, or maybe your first co-op experience.
Yeah, so just looking back, the University of Waterloo is certainly a fantastic, of course, institution overall, as an alumni. And obviously, the co-op experiences for me have provided tremendous dividends over the time, in terms of being able to gain a lot of different experiences working in different sectors. I've had the chance to work in public and private, and it really has drawn me to different facets of industries and careers that I never would have really considered otherwise. So, my first co-op was actually at the University of Waterloo with the Faculty of Arts, and that really propelled me in so many ways to get involved with the university, to meet a lot of new friends, really get connected, and that has also allowed me to build from there to future co-op jobs, right? Because the way I look at co-op, it really is a big piece of self-awareness. And I look back now again, even just to my fourth year, and a lot has changed in that time as well. So it really is that self-awareness piece, I think, that co-op gives you to continue building and improving. For me, my career path, really passionate in working in higher education. As I mentioned, working for the university before. I worked for the university after I graduated as well, not in this role, in a previous role that was a shorter term contract. Then, most recently, I worked at a startup in Kitchener, that focuses in on international higher education, and specifically student recruitment. So over the years, I've really developed a passion for helping students really figure out their journey and their next steps to pursue higher education, because I understand, having gone through it myself, what that does for your life and your career trajectory, and just kind of everywhere you can potentially explore from there on.
Yeah, that's great. Um, so how would you say that your first Waterloo or like co-op placement relates to your line of work now?
A lot of what co-op does is it helps, like I said, build your resume, build your experiences, gives you a number of different skills. And especially being a faculty of arts graduate, the transferable skills that you get are undeniable. They certainly allow you to take those skills and apply them to different sectors. And the beauty of co-op, the beauty of being a recent grad is really, as you go through your career, as you try to figure out things that you're passionate about, the things you want to do, it's not believing that you have the opportunity to fail. It really is that, you work hard, you can try new things, right? Because you have these transferable skills, you're able to test out different industries that you may not have thought about. Like I said, I've considered HR, I've considered the public sector. I'm in higher education right now.
As like a current student, I can kind of see how like failure is a really pressuring like experience for a lot of students.
Absolutely. It's, there's a lot of pressure, as you kind of alluded to, where, that so many instances where you feel like you have to get it right the first time or always be
Exactly.
achieving at a high level. But again, the opportunity to try new things, to see what you like and what you don't like. And again, going back to co-op, going back to all these
Yeah.
different experiences, you get, you know, to have a program that allows you, 4 or 5, maybe even 6 different co-op terms to work in different industries, to hone different skills. And then you kind of go, I really did enjoy that. And I want to take that further. To me, and for me, that's kind of what happened. I had the chance to work in student recruitment. I had the chance to see the impact that I had on the lives of grade 12 students and incoming students, and the change that you could make on just, if it's that little bit of making their decision process that much easier, or
Yeah.
helping them understand what they want to study. That was very rewarding for me. So just being able to find those opportunities and find those, again, elements of passion, that goes a long way to helping me figure out, 5 years later, right, what I really wanted to do.
Yeah, no, definitely. I feel like a lot of first year students can definitely relate just being really confused about what they want to do when they grow up.
100%.
For someone who is trying to find their first job placement, could you elaborate on how you stood out to employers and what set you aside from other competitors?
Yeah, getting that first job is certainly, always a little bit challenging, whether it's your first co-op job or your first job after graduation. One of the biggest pieces of advice that I've received over the last little while was when you go into interviews, whether whether it's a sales pitch or whatever you're doing, when have stories about who you are, because stories resonate with people. Being able to make yourself stand out, a lot of resumes can look very similar, right? Sometimes it is a little difficult to differentiate yourself in that sense, right? But having stories about who you are, what you're passionate about, that's what employers, I think, look for, to understand that the person behind the skills, behind the degree, right? It's easy to list off skills that you have, and certainly talking about experiences is really important, of course, as part of a resume. But being able to connect and being able to have, again, stories of your past experiences, what you're passionate about, where you're looking to go, and how you're looking to grow. All of these things, I think, go a long way to helping someone understand who you are, and quite frankly, how they'll be able to help you get there. So that's probably my biggest piece of advice. It's something I would have told my first year.
So you've been talking about how you've influenced students to choose their programs or majors, but how did you choose legal studies and how did you choose your minor?
Yeah, so for me, choosing the University of Waterloo as a whole, first of all, was really just the co-op program, right?
Right?
Understanding that the co-op program, as I've alluded to already, just gives you so many opportunities to get real-world experiences, to develop skills. But with the Faculty of Arts, and again, tying in co-op into this, it really was 3 main reasons why I chose the Faculty of Arts and Legal Studies. So number one, I was in the Arts and Business program, as I mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Having that business backbone as an element of my broader studies, right? That was
Yeah.
really important to me to have, just to get that exposure. Is, understanding it was very high level marketing, accounting, entrepreneurship, but having the chance to dabble into that and having that as a foundation for me was really important, because business is in everything, whether you're in science, whether you're in math, whether you're in arts.
Yeah.
There are business components as you enter the workforce. So I really wanted to have that exposure. The second part was, with the Faculty of Arts, it really is like a build your own degree. That's the way I explained it to first year students and second year students and any Faculty of Arts students, quite frankly. Being able to, declare your major not until your second year, right? You can wait until then, so you can explore a lot of different courses. So for me, I majored in legal studies, minored in sociology, but as I mentioned, took courses in psychology, political science, and a number of other disciplines, philosophy as well. So just that broad exposure, to really customize and create my own education in some instances was
Mm-hmm.
really important. And as I mentioned, the last thing was co-op, the real world experiences. So these 3 things are really what drove me to the University of Waterloo, why the Faculty of Arts appealed to me so much.
Right. Thank you. So what was your favorite memory at University of Waterloo?
Oh gosh, favorite memory, making me think back 7 or 8 years now, which is also crazy to think about. Certainly the people that I've met along the way, it sounds a little bit corny, but I really did enjoy being a student. I do love to learn, being in those
Mhm.
classrooms, to engage with professors and have meaningful discussions about real world current events. I'm that kind of person who's really driven by the socio-political landscapes that we're living in and all the really, again, current events and topics that are relevant. So I do miss that piece of it a lot. But I guess one of the favorite memories though is really looking at first year, and the chance to live in residence. And unfortunately, with this year, it has been difficult for some students not to be able to. But going back to first year, and for me, living in residence and meeting a lot of my friends who are still really close with me today,
Mhm.
and again, tying it back to my interest in studying, it was like a late night study session. We'd be up till 2, 3 a.m. Studying in. I lived at Rane Village. We went over to MKV to study. We were up super late, went to V1 to grab food, and just those little experiences where you're walking around campus late at night, and yes, you're studying,
Mhm.
but you're with a group of friends. You're all focusing in because it's exam time. You're able to go get some food and just hang out. Those are just the moments of autonomy and the moments of being a first year student that you look back at and you go, that's a memorable moment. Just being with your friends, doing stuff that you're passionate about, again, studying for something that's really important, but just being in that environment is just something, as I mentioned, is really that student experience altogether. Because when you
Right.
live off campus afterwards, it's you grow up a little bit more, right? You got to cook for
Mhm.
yourself and do all those things. But being in first year, and looking at that, that's one of those memories that I'll hold for a while.
So for someone who's like a little bit shy and doesn't have like a lot of experience talking to other people, how would you suggest them to like put themselves out there and to go up to their profs and talk?
Yeah. I can answer that in two ways. For me, I really do self-identify as an introvert. As much as
Mhm.
I enjoy doing these and going on panels and being a recruiter in front of students, which may make me sound like an extrovert, I
Yeah.
do identify in that sense. So on two fronts, as I mentioned, number one, in terms of putting yourself out there to meet people, I'll say this: in first year, I did nothing. I did not do orientation. I did not get involved. I was, just doing my own thing, studying, going back to, my residences, and just kind of just grinding along for first year and just getting through it. And it wasn't until my first co-op with the Faculty of Arts and meeting new students and getting into volunteering that I joined, the Sociology Society, which I was, again, a part of that program,
Mhm.
uh, getting involved with the Arts Ambassadors, and then just by virtue of that, meeting so many different people, upper year students in different programs who, again, are a lot of my close friends today. So just being able to put yourself out there, because it's not easy, but once you get involved with a couple clubs, meet some people, whether you want to focus on the academic side or you
Yeah.
want to focus on the social side, there's a club, there's a group, there's something to get involved with orientation, as an upper year leader, right? Share your experiences with first year students, just the way I do. I tell people I wasn't involved, but look at me now. To some extent, met so many people, very engaged with my faculty as I'm
Yeah.
doing now. Lots of chances. And then in terms of the academic side, I made the intention to go to my professor's office hours. I made the intentions to meet with my advisors at least once a term, because the academic success of for them getting to know who you are, so that you're not just another student number, right? You're not just
Mhm.
someone who's going because you need help. You're building that relationship with your professors and your advisors so that they can help you be successful. With advisors, I'd say, how do I stay on track? Am I on track to graduate? What courses do I need to take? How am I doing? And just those check-ins were super
Mhm.
valuable. And then on the academic side, like I said, to check in with professors, how can I be successful in this course, right? Depending on your learning style. And I think for first year student, that's one of the most important things. It's what is your learning style? And that's some of the
Right.
work that I'm actually doing right now, time management. How do you note take? So some of these things first year students will need to figure out. So talking to your professors is a great way to figure some of that out.
Yeah. I can see how sometimes professors can be a little bit intimidating to approach, but would you say that they're willing to help out students?
100%. That
Yeah.
is that is why they're in this line of work.
Mhm.
Obviously, they're doing a ton of research, but professors are always welcoming students to come to their office hours, not just during exam time. I think that's the caveat, right? So don't
Yeah.
go just because it's exam time and you need help. Go say hi, drop in. One of my, going back to one of my favorite memories, being able to drop in with my legal studies slash sociology stats professor. We just talk about baseball. Sometimes I'd go in because, again, being involved with the faculty or with the department, I was around those halls a lot. And sometimes I'd just drop in, say hi, and we'd chat about baseball for,
Mhm.
half an hour or so. And because professors, they're people too. They have interest in, whether it's on their research or something you're personally interested in and you want to talk about. Yeah, they're 100% supportive. And again, for students, it's really taking that initiative to get to know them, especially in your first and second years when the classes are super large,
Mhm.
and you don't feel like you have those connections. Make the intentions to go there because, quite frankly, those professors might be your professors in third and fourth year.
Okay, for my final question is how would you describe your character or like how would your friends describe you?
My character, I feel,
Yeah,
feel
your
you got to
character.
ask some folks who actually do know me well. But for me, I think I would describe myself as someone who's always learning and growing and looking for new perspectives altogether. Um, and being honest, I think is I think if we're speaking about character, being honest and true and intentional. I've talked about intention a lot, over the last little while, but being able to be intentional in the sense that you're making the efforts to stay connected with people. Be
Right.
honest and true to the people you work with the work that you want to do in terms of your career, and then
Mhm.
ultimately being true to yourself and knowing who you are, and trusting your own abilities and knowing that there's success isn't just a singular point in time, right? Success is ongoing. So going throughout university, as you develop your skills, as you gain more experience, you hit lots of milestones and know that you're always looking forward, you're always looking to grow and be better because you don't want to peak too early, basically,
Yeah,
right? So there's always that opportunity to, again, as long as you know yourself, be honest with yourself of who you are, what your values are as a person,
right.
and being able to stick to those. I think that goes a long way, again, in navigating your career, interactions in school, and then ultimately with the people around you. And the last thing I'll say is the people around you is one of the most important pieces. Those who support you are able to help get you to the next level,
Right.
and challenge you when you need to be challenged. I think all these things, not just all the good stuff, all the support, but being able to help motivate you and take you to that next level. So those are the things that I think are most important. And like I said, for character, it's just really being true to yourself and honest, and believing in who you are and what you want to accomplish.
Right. Thank you. Those are some great advices. Thank you so much for taking the time to share your experiences. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jay.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.